We remember Kobe Bryant. I am Tom Downey. Alongside me is Harrison Graham, one of the greatest to ever play the game, one of the all-time great Lakers, and as we'll dive into, a no-brainer, surefire first ballot Hall of Famer as well. Unfortunately taken away far too early in a terrible helicopter crash Sunday morning out in California. Kobe Bryant is dead at the age of 41. Now, in terms of the Hall of Fame side of it, Harrison, the Hall of Fame chairman, Jerry Colangelo, issued this statement.
Yeah, expected to be arguably the most epic class ever with Kobe, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett. Just a couple of NBA titles among that group there.
Pretty
Kobe,
normal level talents.
yeah, just an average class there. Kobe will be honored the way he should be. That is going to be. Can you imagine the crowd at the Hall of Fame?
Not going to be a dry
induction. Yeah, it's going to be quite a class there. And keep in mind, the Basketball Hall of Fame is not just the NBA, so there'll be other names. But these three are automatic. They will be in the 2020 Hall of Fame class.
There's a lot of different moments that I wish we were going to be able to see throughout Bryant and the rest of the people impacted in the helicopter crash in their lifetimes. I would have loved to have seen Kobe's Hall of Fame speech.
Yes.
Because he would have absolutely crushed that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we saw the poem that he wrote that won himself an Oscar. You know, talking to the sport of basketball. Yeah, Dear Basketball, exactly. And he ended up voicing over that as well, which earned him that Oscar win a few years back. He was very intelligent. He was well spoken. We all know that. That would have been something to see, and it's unfortunate that we don't get to witness that coming up this year.
His accolades on the court are comparable to all of the all-time greats.
Themselves.
Yeah, 5-time NBA champ, a 14-time NBA All-Star, a 15-time NBA or All-NBA team member, 12-time All-Defensive Team, the 1 MVP, and 2 Finals MVPs. And you said it earlier, Harrison, everyone wanted to be like Mike. Kobe was the only one who really came close to it.
Yeah, and he came, I would say, about 90 to 95% there. I mean, one less title, maybe slightly less of a player overall, but certainly terrific in his own right. You see the numbers some of these guys are putting up nowadays, and you're thinking, 25 points is not a lot. When you play for 20 years, it is, because typically toward the end,
there's an ebb and a flow.
I think of guys like Dirk, too. Like his last few years, he's not scoring what he used to. This guy averaged 25. In his prime years, he was 30 plus. So.
I love Dirk. He was never going to be able to drop 60 in his final NBA game like Kobe could.
No, absolutely. And not just because it was volume. Yeah, he took 50 shots, but he made 22 of them, 44%. And everybody in the arena knows he's shooting.
And you still can't stop him.
Yeah, and you still can't stop him, especially he hit his final 5 shots, including a fadeaway 3 to put the Lakers up for good, which, by the way, fittingly enough, eliminated the Utah Jazz from playoff contention in his final games of his career. That was the competitor he was. But, the numbers speak for themselves. His accomplishments speak for themselves. He's certainly a top 10 player in NBA history.
As of right now, he's the 4th all-time leading scorer, and even just most, incredibly is the right word here, but one day and one night before this tragic helicopter crash, LeBron James, wearing sneakers with inscriptions dedicated to Kobe Bryant, surpassed him on the NBA's all-time leading scorers list.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works, right? And, of course, who are they sitting on top of? Michael Jordan, who's number 5.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Those three will always be intertwined when you're talking about the all-time greats. But it's just wild to see kind of the reaction and the response across the world the last 24 hours or so.
The Staples Center scene for that game, before, during, and after, is going to be incredibly emotional. I mean, you can see the photos as we go through them of the emotion after they heard the news. Now you're going to have, I would assume, some type of tribute before the game, during the game, and just there will be tears everywhere.
The cheapest ticket as of about an hour ago, as we film this live here, was about $1,200. That's probably going to continue to go up, Tom. It is going to be a wildly emotional game. There will not be an empty seat. They probably will not be sitting down at any point during this game. This is going to feel like a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. That's how this is going to feel. And fittingly enough, having it be against the Clippers, both LA teams, that's going to be a wild night at Staples Center.
We're going to get into some of our favorite memories here in just a second, but we want to hear from you guys as well. Everyone in the comments, some of you have already put those in. Feel free to put them in again. Your favorite Kobe Bryant memory from the 20 years he was the LA Lakers superstar guard There are plenty of them to choose from, even some coming in from off the court as well. But there are all kinds of memories that you can throw in there for Kobe Bryant, the early in his career, the middle part of his career, to the latter part as well. I'll begin with my top three, Harrison, then I'll throw it over to you. I know we have one of the same ones there, that there were 60 points in that final NBA game. The one that kind of also sticks out to me, maybe this was a cheap one to pick in terms of obvious, but the 81-point game against the Toronto Raptors, that ridiculous game that he put together.
Yeah, we'll get to my list in a second. Don't get me wrong, that was incredible. I didn't have it on my top three because
there are too many to pick.
Well, that's the main reason. But number two, that was also the awkward year where the Lakers stunk because they were trying to transition to moving on without Shaq. And I think that was the year they won like 42 games, and he had to be the guy every single night, and he had an incredible night against Toronto.
If I remember correctly, earlier that month or like a month before, that same season, he had a 62-point game against the Mavs in three quarters and outscored the Mavs by himself. And then one of my personal favorite ones is, I don't know if you remember it, I saw it in the comments earlier, when Kobe and Matt Barnes were not getting along in a game, when they were kind of going back and forth at each other, and it comes to an inbound play, and Matt Barnes kind of fakes a pass right at Kobe Bryant, and Kobe Bryant does not move.
Doesn't flinch.
Just like straight to his fake pass to his face, and Bryant's like, yeah, I'm fine.
You know what Kobe's thinking?
That was Mamba mentality.
You know what Kobe's thinking? Matt freaking Barnes is not going to freaking,
Matt Barnes ain't gonna.
Yeah, you got to be kidding me. That is the Mamba mentality there. So those are some of your memories there as well. My number one is probably, it's between my first and third one here. 60 points in the final game to knock the Jazz out of the playoffs in a year where he battled a ton of physical ailments and was not the same guy anymore. That's tough to beat. But the moment he hit 2 free throws on a ruptured Achilles, everybody knew what happened in the arena. I mean, there's a story out there that he asked Harrison Barnes, "Please tell me you kicked me," hoping it wasn't that torn Achilles, but because that's what it feels like when it ruptures. He did not kick him, so he ruptured it. Instead of coming out of the game and have someone else shoot the free throws, he waddles to the free throw line, hits both, and then walks on his own power back to the sideline.
Showing no pain, by the way.
No, and just nothing but net on both free throws to tie the game in the fourth quarter against the Golden State Warriors at 110. I actually don't remember who won that game. That's not the point, but the competitiveness is the point, right? Also, the game winner.
I think it is the point that you don't remember who won, because that wasn't what mattered.
No. The point was his competitiveness. Like, I'm not coming out of this game until I have to. I'm hitting these free throws first. Game winner against the Sun, where he almost rips his jersey like that afterwards. That's certainly one in the playoffs that sticks out to me. And like I said, the 60-point, 60-burger in his final game, that's an all-timer for me.
All right, so there were, of course, in a way, 2 different Kobe Bryants. There was number 24, the latter half, for the most part of his career. We'll kind of split it somewhat down the middle. And then number 8, the earlier career player. Do you have a favorite Kobe, Harrison, between those two? And everyone in the comments, feel free to throw in 8 or 24 here.
I'll say 24 because that's just the one I remember the most. I do remember the Kobe Shaq days, but I was also a lot younger, so I can't say I remember them quite as well. And I think, for being fair, Shaq was the guy, right? When Kobe first got into the league, he was their best player, and that's how I associate number 8 Kobe as well. Then also keep in mind, Kobe won his 1 MVP as number 24. He was able to carry the Lakers to 2 titles as the main guy as number 24. Obviously, 1-3 is number 8. But again, Shaq won all the finals MVPs there. I associate myself with number 24 Kobe more.
I do as well, because we're in a similar age group. 24 to me was the Mamba.
Yes.
Like the Black Mamba and the Mamba mentality really kind of was maybe not established, but became dominant in the 24 era.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't the same guy at the end, he still had that stone cold demeanor and the always locked in somehow.
He was really starting to hit his prime when he switched numbers. I think his 4 or 5 best years were the beginning of the 24 number there. So I would lean 24 there, but both those careers in itself are Hall of Famers. Like, if he retired his last season as number 8, he'd probably be in the Hall of Fame. So certainly crazy, and the Lakers honored him by retiring both numbers.
I already see a lot of you guys doing it, and feel free to continue doing it here live on Facebook and on YouTube. Your favorite Kobe Bryant, 8, of course, for number 8, and 24 for number 24. I did appreciate the one comment in there that said number 8 was N64 Kobe.
That's funny.
We can identify it based on video game
as
years.
gaming systems evolved, that's when he switched the number. When we got to the Xbox 360, he was number 24 at that point. I like that comment there. It's kind of a good way to outline the timeline there between 8 and 24.
It may be a great indication of just how great and dominant that Kobe Bryant was in the NBA. The most all-NBA teams in history. Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Kareem, and LeBron all have made 15. They are tied for first. Kobe, 15 out of 20 times he was an all-NBA player. That's some pretty staggering efficiency.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, too. It's not just the volume. It's 75% of his career. He was one of the 5 best players in the league. And in most of those years, top 2 or 3, I would say. You know, I mean, it's just pretty remarkable, the consistency. And another thing it shows is outside of the Achilles, the guy didn't get hurt.
No.
And when he did, he played through injury.
Yeah.
That's a guy who he played through a ton of ankle sprains. He was such a competitor.
His body was beaten up at the end of his career. There's no doubt.
Wasn't a
about
load
that
management guy. Like if he played in today's NBA, he would have played for 23 years, 24 years. I mean, it was a different era, and he was not going to take nights off.
The one player not on that list, but inevitably twined and connected with Kobe Bryant was Michael Jordan. I liked what you and James said earlier was that everyone wanted to be like Mike as a kid. And there's an entire movie about that, frankly. And Kobe actually came close to doing it. Here was MJ's statement. I am in shock over the tragic news of Kobe and Gianna's passing. Words can't describe the pain I am feeling. I love Kobe. He was like a little brother to me. We used to talk often, and I will miss those conversations very much. Part of the tragedy here, Harrison, is that Kobe Bryant, yes, his NBA career was over, but his post-NBA career was just beginning, and he was supposed to have a Michael Jordan type impact on the game.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly could have seen him doing 5, 6, 7, 8 different things. Coach, be an executive, own a team. I think that's certainly a route he may have considered going at someone. Being, a front office member of the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously he was going to take the next several years to continue focusing on his daughters and their growth and coaching Gianna's team, who tragically, died in this accident as well. But even away from basketball, production company, this guy's very smart. He won an Oscar for crying out loud. Like, this guy was talented in so many different ways, and that's what's tough when you read all these articles, Tom, is that he had so much left to give, and we'll never get to see just what that would have been.
The Magic Johnson statement in particular hits me personally pretty hard.
Yeah.
Here it is. I thought he was going to live forever. I thought he was invincible. He played like that. He walked like that. He impacted the world, and very few athletes get to impact the world like Kobe Bryant did. I am not supposed to be doing this. He is supposed to be talking. He's way too young. I was supposed to pass away. He was to talk about me. This is a sad day. That's Magic Johnson, who, of course, has battled AIDS for so long. The part that hits me is that in a morbid way, he's right. That's not how it was supposed to be.
It's somewhat extreme to say it that way, but Kobe did kind of feel immortal, right? Like, he was one of those figures that was like, this guy, he's going to live till he's 100 years old, and he's going to do a million things with his life because he dedicates himself that way. He's going to be the best father. He's going to be the best at whatever he does because he's not going to let himself settle for anything less than that. And that's just who he was as a player and as a person, that he worked harder than everyone. And it's hard to find the phrasing and the words just to describe how shocking this is, how sad it is for all the victims, certainly, but, Kobe and his daughter Gianna as well. I mean, as we scroll through the photos here, they played games on Sunday after this.
They played through games.
Yeah, I mean, kind of went through the motions there. The one that stuck out to me, Tyson Chandler, who played with Kobe briefly in L.A., I mean, the guy's in tears on the sideline. Like, not just, tearing up a little bit, like he is bawling his eyes out, trying to, keep himself together there. And we saw that certainly across the association on Sunday afternoon and Sunday night.
As a reminder, we send out our thoughts, our prayers, and our condolences to the Kobe Bryant family and to all those who were impacted by that terrible helicopter crash that took 9 lives on Sunday morning.